Hello, everyone. This is Dino. In this part two of the liturgy of the word, I'm just going to make this video as short as possible. I'm just going to show you some of the sermons, homilies, which were so powerful that affected thousands of people in converting to either Christianity, to be followers of the Bible. Just the sermons, they were so powerful. I just want to talk about uh, those sermons in this video. So the book of Nehemiah, what the background story here is 587 BC, 597, the Babylonians come to Jerusalem. They destroy the city, they burn down the temple, they carry off a lot of people into exile. It's one of the most dramatic events in the Jewish history. So then, make a long story short, the Persia takes over from Babylon, and then the Persian king has some sympathy for the Jewish people, and then he actually let them come back to Jerusalem. He even gives them money, as far as they know, to rebuild the temple. So that's the setting of this great homily that's going on here in the picture here. So, and all the people gathered as one man at the square. This is after they came back, and they were just shocked to see the temple in ruins. The walls have been breached. So, because the temple was everything for the Jewish people, this was the center of their worship where their God lived and everything. So everything is destroyed. Now they are back and they're looking at all these ruins, and they actually forgot who they were, because they spent a few decades in Babylon, just influenced by other cultures and other gods or whatever it is. And then now they are back. And Ezra, the priest, and Nehemiah, they are trying to bring things back into order. And one of the things they do immediately, the Ezra the priest, is to teach the people the Torah again, bring them back. So that's the setting. So, and all the people gathered as one man at the square, which was in front of the Watergate. I mean, there's no connection to President Nixon here. And they asked Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had given to Israel, because they spent a few decades in, I don't know in what condition they were living in. So it was not like living in Jerusalem and going to the temple, worshiping, reading the Torah and everything. So then Ezra the priest brought the law before the assembly of the men, women, and all who could listen with understanding on the first day of the 7th month. And look at this. He read from it before the square, which was in front of the Watergate, from early morning until midday. I mean, some people have complained that, oh, the homily, like a 20-minute or 15 minutes is long. Look at this. From early morning until midday, in the presence of men and women and those who could understand, so including some children, and all the people were attentive to the book of the law. That's the bottom line here. All the people were attentive to the book of the law. So I've spoken to so many Catholics, and after the mass, just, my friends. So we talk about it, we jokingly, and so I just give them a line from the reading that happened in the mass, and I ask them, so what did you understand from that? How would you interpret that? And because the priest didn't do a good job, as many Catholic priests, they just take off on something else, and and they read from prepared notes. And so most of them have told me that I have no idea. I don't know what was read. It was so fast, the lector. And then the priest was talking about something, they don't make the connection. And also, I don't want to put the whole blame on the priest here, but also the parishioners. Okay, they also look at this, and all the people are attentive to the book of the law from early morning to midday. Okay. So the Sermon on the Mount, it is the most powerful sermon ever delivered by anyone. Okay. So do we know about the sermon? How much we know? In which chapters the sermon is being explained? Which gospel, which chapters? Okay. And what the meaning of it? Have you gone through any commentary by good commentaries about the sermon? So what does it mean by blessed are the poor in spirit? Oh, really? Blessed are the poor in spirit? What does it mean? And we call that this is the greatest sermon ever delivered, right? So how much we know about it? So again, my friends, my point is we have to read the Bible, get a good commentary, and we have to learn. We have to learn about this. On the one hand, we say that the greatest sermon ever delivered, and then we don't know how to explain, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And then look at the next one. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And blessed are the meek. So how do you explain this? What exactly Jesus meant about it by saying this? Okay, so we need to not only listen to good homilies, there's so much resource on the internet today. You can actually get good commentaries and my point is just spend some time, right? Okay, so next example I'm going to give you the Peter's Pentecost sermon in Acts 2. But Peter, standing with the 11, raised his voice and addressed them. So you remember they were fear for the Jews? No, after Pentecost happened, now he's raising his voice. Men of Judea and all who live in Jerusalem, let this be known to you. He's not pulling any punches here, okay? He's very charismatic, he's very loud, doesn't care about anybody, Jews, okay? And listen to what I say. Indeed, these are not drunk as you suppose, for it is only 9 o'clock in the morning. No, this is what was spoken through the prophet Joel. In the last days, it will be, God declared that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Okay, so he delivered this, one of the most powerful sermons right after the Pentecost, because now the Holy Spirit is on them, right? And what happened that day? Those who embraced this message were baptized, and about 3,000 were added to the believers that day. Just that one sermon. 3,000 Jews they converted. Okay, that must have been one powerful sermon. Okay, look at this. Bring it back to contemporary, right? Evangelist Billy Graham's crusades. I read the story somewhere that the great Billy Graham, when he's planning a crusade in a particular city, he will actually choose a group of people and he will send them to that city a year before. I think I heard this from maybe Bishop Barron, probably. A year before, not to plan, that'll be another group planning all those things. Okay, he had different committees, so planning will be another group. But this group, they will be simply praying the whole year that his crusade will be a successful one. You can see the sea of people. Okay, every crusade was better than the previous one, right? Billy Graham. So just imagine a year before he sends a group of people just to pray. Okay, let me just give you a couple more. Look at this here. The largest crowd at any event in Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and Sports Arena was the 1963 Billy Graham Crusade with 134,000 people inside another 20,000 more outside. This is the largest crowd in the history of Los Angeles. Okay, now, picture on the right, evangelist Billy Graham preaches to 1.1 million South Koreans. So my point being, to all, especially the Catholic priests that I've come across, so many of them. So let me tell you just a quick story. I was at a mass one time, and the reading was about how as soon as John the Baptist was beheaded, that Jesus, actually when he was arrested, he went to Galilee and he started preaching in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali. Zebulun and Naphtali. It's in the Gospel of Matthew. So this was the reading. And then there was also a connection between this, a juxtaposition to what Isaiah said. The people sat in darkness, and but the light will come, and he's prophesying that light will come, and so Matthew is actually twice is mentioning this Zebulun and Naphtali. So I didn't understand that really. What are the connections? Who are these Zebulun and Naphtali? Is the name of place or people or tribe, or I didn't know that. So I was hoping right after the reading by the lector that and the priest read the Gospel of Matthew, that he will explain what are the Zebulun and Naphtali, because we are talking such big prophet. Isaiah is saying something and Matthew is making the connection. It is huge. I was hoping to learn something, and guess what? The priest never even mentioned a single word about Isaiah, Zebulun, Naphtali, nothing. Okay, he was just saying something else, totally something. He was also talking about the Peach Festival coming up and in our area, and then he was making a connection to something else, to Jesus. Okay, so so after the mass, I went to the priest. I asked him. He's a friend of mine. Okay, so Father, I was really hoping to learn something about the Zebulun and Naphtali and what's going on with this. And you know what he told me? These our parishioners, they're not going to understand all those. He said, really? You're just supposing that they're not going to understand that? So I came home. Of course, I did my research. I found out what all the Zebulun and Naphtali is. One of the very important verses. I won't get into that. So I'm just giving an example of how the priest, they have to prepare themselves, and they have to be excited, and they have to connect the Old Testament to the New Testament in the 20 minutes that they have. Even they can take the second reading or the first reading and whatever they feel comfortable with, but they need to tell the story. They have to make the connection, okay? All right. So this is the St. Peter's Basilica. You can see the people listening to probably a nice homily there. And this is one of my favorites. Okay, Archbishop Fulton Sheen, and I have all his. There's one website, I think Fulton Sheen. I don't know who is running this website. They have this entire library of Fulton Sheen's talks. So one time I purchased this, and sometimes I listen to it. It's just so amazing. Such a God send. This person, this Archbishop is just so blessed. Okay, what he has done, and he was just drawing millions of viewers back in the days. I mean, with social media you could even draw more millions, but the technology available at the time he was preaching, right? So he was unbelievable. And look at this. So this is one of the crowds for Archbishop Fulton Sheen. He was just a power, like a powerhouse. Okay, so Catholic deserve better homilies. One thing that is pretty true for most of us is that if we do not prepare ahead of time, the homily is likely going to be long, meandering, repetitive, and just plain empty. Okay, so I've experienced this many times. Now, my friends, I'm going to try something here. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I am going to try. Bishop Robert Barron is one of my favorites. Okay, he is again a godsend. I feel so blessed to live in the same time period as Bishop Barron, okay, because I'm able to listen to his homilies, and on my iPhone, I have his homilies from, I think, 2008, okay, like podcast. I was just listening to his homily yesterday. So I'm recording this in August 25th. Today is Sunday, 2024. I don't know when you're listening to this, I don't know what date it is. And I just listened to his homily yesterday. I never miss his homily. I always learn from him. It's just so amazing. I believe he's the second most followed on social media next to Pope Francis. Okay. And it's such a godsend. But I'm going to try this if this is going to be recorded. Okay. This is a homily, a short homily. So please be patient. And if you're a Protestant, you may want to turn this off, because I know you have a lot of problem with Mary, because this is all about the Queen of Angels. And Bishop Barron in this homily is explaining the real meaning between the Queen of Angels. He said that it's not like a pious saying, oh, she's the Queen of Angels, but he gives you the background from the book of Revelation, which is so amazing. And he is so gifted, when he explains something, it just stays with you. Okay. So let's say if this, my recording will pick up this, okay?
Our Lady, Queen of the Angels, Nuestra Señora, Reina de los Ángeles. Los Angeles is not the city of angels. It's the city of the Queen of the Angels. Now, I know when you say that, the Queen of the Angels, it can sound, maybe a little pious, harmless, sentimental. But when you look at the biblical sources for this idea of Mary as queen, you'll find it's anything but. I recommend you start in the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation, the last book in the Bible. The visionary sees a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon at her feet. Our Lady of Guadalupe image comes to mind, doesn't it? It's no accident. The woman clothed in the sun, the moon at her feet, and on her head a coronet of 12 stars. She's a queen. And we find out she's about to give birth. However, waiting there in front of her, ready to devour the child when he comes forth, is a dragon, we hear. The Queen Mother gives birth to a son, and much to the consternation of the dragon, mother and son are spirited away. And then we're told that a great war broke out between the dragon and his angels and St. Michael and his angels. Now, say what you want about that cluster of images. It ain't twee and sentimental and harmless. Mary is a warrior queen, if you want. Queen of an army of angels. Now, one more little connection. Go right before the 12th chapter, in the 11th chapter of the book of Revelation. The visionary sees in the heavenly place the Ark of the Covenant. You know, that box in which the remnants of the 10 Commandments were kept. It was a sign of God's presence among his people. Israel would carry the Ark of the Covenant into battle. The juxtaposition between Ark of the Covenant and the warrior queen is not accidental. Because who's the true Ark of the Covenant? But Mary, who bore within her own womb the very presence of God. A warrior queen. Now, press it. Queen of angels, of angels. Again, we're in danger of seeing this in a superficial or sentimental way. When you think of angels, most of us think of maybe those cute little, naked babies at the edges of religious paintings, right? Or maybe little cherubs on Christmas cards. What's the typical reaction to an angel when he appears in the Bible? Trust me, it's not, oh, isn't he adorable? What's the reaction to an angel? We heard it today. You hear it every time an angel appears. Fear. Don't be afraid, the angel has to say. Fear. Think for a minute, everybody. Suppose an alien, an extraterrestrial from another planet or galaxy appeared. What would your first reaction be? Fear, undoubtedly, right? What is it? What is it? What does he want? An angel is not just a being from another part of our visible universe. Nothing as ordinary as that. No. An angel is a reality from a higher dimensional system. An angel comes from an arena beyond this universe. Fear, therefore, is the immediate reaction to this extraordinary reality. Thomas Aquinas said that an angel is so unique that each angel, each individual angel, constitutes its own species. Now, think about that for a second, what that means. Think of every human being who's ever lived. Think of every human being currently living. Think of every human being who will ever live until the end of time. Now, gather all of those individuals into one great being. That's what one angel is like. You know, in the Gospel of Luke, in the familiar Christmas story, a single angel appears, remember, to the shepherds. What's their reaction? Fear, yes. But then it says, I love this, then it says, a stratias of angels appeared. And we say host in our most translations, but that word in Greek is behind our words strategy and strategic. You know why? Because stratias means army. Army. With the one angel who's enough to frighten you out of your wits comes an army of angels. Mary is the queen of the angels. Mary is a warrior, opposed by the dragon, but yet she commands this impossibly powerful army. And see, friends, that is very good news for us. The Bible knows all about individual sin. It's not naive about that. It knows all about the fact that we individuals sin, that we're wicked some of the time. Moreover, the Bible knows all about collective sin or institutional sin. And the last, maybe 50 years in our theology, we've been very attentive to this. That cultures and nations, institutions can be sinful. The Bible knows all about that. But think now of concentric circles. Here's the individual sin. Here's the more collective or institutional sin. The Bible knows there's a third and greater dimension, which is the spiritual corruption that exists among the fallen angels. That there's something wrong at a more fundamental, at a more cosmic level. That there is indeed a warfare going on. And this spiritual dysfunction affects our institutions and affects us. The good news is we have a warrior queen who commands an army of angels. In battle with the dragon and all of his minions, yes, but she's more powerful. She's more powerful. Now listen to me, everybody, Angelinos here. This is the lady for whom our city is named. This is the lady for whom our city is named. And what's the point now spiritually for us? Let's join the struggle with her. Now, mind you, this army that she commands does not fight with the puny weapons of the world. No, no. We don't fight with the weapons of the world. We don't fight with violence and hatred, division. An eye for an eye, Gandhi said. Yes, making the whole world blind. We don't fight that way. We don't fight fire with fire, making the whole world hotter. No, no. The army of angels fights with the weapons of the Spirit, with love and with justice and with compassion, with forgiveness. But by God they fight. By God they fight. I'll tell you a way that we can fight, if I can dig out of my pocket this rosary, this simple prayer. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. What is that? Oh, it's a pious prayer to cultivate in the privacy of my heart. Well, sure it is. Of course it is. But that prayer is also calling upon the warrior queen. It's calling upon the one who is the commander of the angels. Is the dragon still operative today? Look around. How immigrants and the undocumented are treated. How the unborn in our country are treated. I've heard major level politicians in our country say, as boldly as this, that a child about to be born, within seconds of birth, has no constitutional rights. The violence that besets us in our major cities, including this one, of course. The homeless falling increasingly into addiction and marginalization. Human trafficking, which is a scourge around the world. And one, sadly, one of the central places where this takes place is right here in Los Angeles. Pornography, which is drawing more and more people into its grip. One of the centers of it, sadly, is this center of entertainment, Los Angeles. The dragon still operative with his minions? You bet. So what's our call? Is to enter into the army of the Queen of the Angels, who is more powerful than anything that is in the world or outside the world. To enter into that army, how? Through love and through forgiveness and through compassion, through nonviolence, through the power of prayer. But to do so, everybody, publicly. You know, it's a tendency in our culture to say religion ought to be privatized. You know, it's fine if you want to cultivate this little thing in your heart, you want to whisper your convictions among yourselves. But that can't be right. No, as we join the army of the Queen of the Angels, we do so publicly, giving public witness by our love and by our compassion, by our prayer, by our nonviolence. We give public witness against the power of the dragon. So everybody, that's why we're here today. Yes, to celebrate our city, indeed. Celebrate its roots historically in the great Franciscan missions, yes indeed. But to pay very special attention to that great title that was given to the city. La Señora, Nuestra Señora, Reina de los Ángeles. Our Lady, Queen of the Angels. Let's claim that title and let's march in her army.
Thank you, everyone, and hopefully you were able to listen to that great homily of Bishop Barron, and there are thousands and thousands of videos that he has produced over the years. and his website is wordonfire.org. Wordonfire.org. And it's just a treasure trove of homilies and just writings and videos. And so he's truly a godsend. So I want to thank you for your time, and I will see you in another video.